A few months ago, I was browsing a little retro games booth and I came across something amazing. Now, I don't have a DMG Game Boy, but I thought it could be a cool case for Commander decks. At the time I had just started playing again and I only had one deck, so I didn't end up buying it. Well, fast forward a few months and I've built a few more decks, so I went back to Kevin's booth and the case was gone. With a little bit of research, I was able to find it online, and driven by FOMO and regret, I placed the order. I'd say it's in pretty decent condition for 34-year-old plastic. It wasn't nearly as clean as the one I saw at Kevin's, but it was the cheapest one I found online for $33. I may have spoken too soon about the condition of the plastic, because this little piece of the latch broke off the first time I opened it. It is 34 years old after all. I set it aside for later and got to cleaning. Once it was all clean, I grabbed some of my gear to test it out. The original DMG is the one Game Boy I actually don't have, so I just checked to see if anything else would fit. The GBC currently lives in a sock, so the case would be an upgrade. Unsurprisingly, it didn't quite fit perfectly. Same goes for the Game Boy Light and the Pocket. The Game Boy Advance actually fit the best, although there was still a little bit of wiggle room. I grabbed a couple of my game cases, which of course fit exactly where they were supposed to. One of the pockets fit a couple GBA games. This middle one was actually meant for the link cable, and the big one at the bottom is for a magnifying lens, which Kevin had showed me a couple months back when I first found the case.
4 AA batteries.
Oh god, so that's 8 total. It might fit my life counter box if I cut out the interior bits. The life counter, by the way, is the piece that's tying this whole Game Boy Magic hybrid idea together. Anyway, I unpacked the case and started thinking about how I was going to fit all my decks inside. Right now, they're in all kinds of different boxes. There's the big tower with the dice compartment at the bottom, the modern, clean plastic box, all the way down to the pre-con cardboard box. Both plastic boxes were just too big. The case is only about 2.5 inches tall, so the thin cardboard box was the only one that would fit. I grabbed a couple more to see how many I could realistically fit inside. I don't love the idea of keeping my decks in cardboard, so I did a little shopping around to find something similar size that offered a little more protection. The old school plastic style is basically the only option, so I went with this 5-pack from Quiver. I had to go with the 80 card sized box since the 100 card box would have been too tall, but the description says the 80 card box can fit up to 100 single sleeved cards, so we'll see. While I waited for the boxes to arrive, I started cutting up dividers. I grabbed a piece of scrap 1/4-inch plywood from my kitchen project and ripped it down into strips. The inside walls of the case aren't perfectly square, they actually lean out a tiny bit, and the original insert has these little plastic wedge spacers around the outside. I tried my best to figure out the angle with a good mix of measuring, eyeballing, and totally guessing. I set my crosscut sled, again by eyeballing, and made a few test cuts. My imperfect methods yielded imperfect results. Not only did I cut the piece too short, I was also off on the angle. I adjusted my sled, remeasured the width, and went back to the saw to try again. I got the angle right this time, but I was still a little short on the cut. Maybe there's just a little too much play in my tape measure. I decided to cut a little too long and then just shave it down until I had a perfect fit. Once I had it right, I used that piece as a template for the second divider, and then I used the same technique to get a good fit on the cross pieces. I smoothed out the edges and called it a day. Once the deck boxes arrived, it was time to start test fitting. First things first, I had to make sure my decks would actually fit in the boxes. I tend to love token strategies, so in addition to my 100 card deck, I usually have a bunch of tokens in my deck box too. Unfortunately, the tokens wouldn't fit, so I'll have to find another solution for that, but the deck itself was perfectly snug in katana sleeves. I had one deck in Dragon Shield sleeves, which are a tiny bit thicker and didn't fit in the Quiver deck box. Now that I'd confirmed these boxes would work, at least with the katana sleeves, I started playing around with the layout. I knew I could fit all 5 deck boxes, it was just a matter of finding the optimal configuration. I could fit 6 if I just went straight across, but I wanted each deck to have its own pocket, and with 3 in a row, there wasn't enough space for the cross dividers. The friction fit of the dividers would be the only thing keeping the boxes from moving side to side, and that just didn't feel finished enough for me. I experimented with all kinds of different layouts, trying to find the right balance of functionality and feasibility. No matter what it was, at the end of the day, I still had to be able to build it, and I didn't want to rely on screws or glue to make it work. Once I finally decided on a layout, I marked my cuts to fit the dividers together. Rather than trying to measure again, I just fit everything in so I could mark exactly where it would need to go. I clamped up my dividers to a sacrificial fence, set my table saw blade height to a little over half of the divider's height, made a couple of passes to cut out the notches. I brought the dividers over to test fit and quickly realized I'd made a big mistake. I cut the notches into the top of both the horizontal and vertical pieces, so when I fit them together, one pair was upside down and wouldn't fit into the angle of the case walls. I ripped some new strips and got started remaking 2 of the dividers. This time I made sure I had them clamped right side up when I cut the notches. I test fit everything again and it was perfect. The friction fit was enough to keep the dividers from falling out even when I flipped the case over and shook it around. Before I could finish though, I had one last thing to fix. I figured I'd try repairing the original plastic latch before resorting to any other solutions, so I bought this 2-part plastic bonding system. First, I glued the 2 broken pieces of the latch together. Oh yeah, another piece broke off at some point during this whole process. Once the 2 pieces were somewhat set, I glued them back to the main body, but not without almost breaking them apart again first. Finally, for a little extra strength, I added some glue along the seam from the side. I don't know how much that'll help, but I figured it was worth a shot. After a day of curing, the latch was fully functional again. I'm not sure how long this is going to hold up, but if it ever breaks again, I'll probably just add some briefcase-style latches. So here's the final product. I decided on this layout to respect the original purpose of the case and make space for the Game Boy life counter along with the decks. Under the Game Boy, there's space for a slim card box that now holds all of my tokens. There's a pocket for dice and counters, 4 decks, and the option to carry a 5th if I don't want to bring the Game Boy. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of the place where I originally found the case, check out this video right here. And they sell cards there too, so if you want to see one of my decks that I built there, check out this other video.